So this projector on paper has it all. Bluetooth 5.1, Dolby surround support, 5G Wi-Fi, and it's native 1080p. So let's see if it lives up to the hype. Hey guys, so this is the NexiGo PJ10 Projector. They sponsored this video for my review, but this is a very promising budget projector. Like I mentioned, it has all those specs that are the ones that aren't necessarily a given on other models. So it's pretty promising. Like I said, the Bluetooth 5.1 is awesome. That way you don't have to actually use a transmitter to hook up to this for hooking it up to other speakers or sound bars. It does support Dolby sound also, which is great because that's something in a lot of these budget projectors is not supported. I actually had to make a whole video on that because there's a lot of people that weren't getting sound and stuff, and you'd have to go and change your sound settings. It was a big headache. So with this, Dolby sound supported, so you're not even gonna have to worry about that. As far as the picture, so this is 220 ANSI lumens. So they say over 7,000 lux, but yeah, the 220 ANSI lumens is basically good for nighttime use and dark environments. I like that this company is right up front about it on their Amazon product listing. It says, not recommended to use in daylight. Please use the projector in low light environments for the best video performance, which is true. If you can kind of block out light and you have, shades and blinds and things like that, that you can, use this during the day, you can. I have some blackout curtains in our kind of upstairs projector area that I use this in, and that's enough during the day to block out light and be able to use this. If you were using this in a basement also during the day, you'd probably be fine, but otherwise definitely at nighttime, or if you're going to use this for outdoor movie nights, you can definitely do that, but it's going to look best at dark. So this also does have Wi-Fi, 5G, and 2.4G are available. If you use a lot of tech items, 2.4G is the most common network. A lot of items kind of work along that 2.4G network, and it can kind of get crammed. So having the 5G is nice, and it's typically a little bit quicker, so that's awesome. So you can do wireless screen mirroring. So you can do that for iOS devices and Android devices. You can basically use your cast function on Android devices and from like Windows laptops and things like that. And iOS, same thing. You can use your screen mirroring. I showed you here how to do it with the MacBook. Just go to your screen mirroring settings there, and then once you set this up and it's on Wi-Fi, then you'll be able to find it and just click on that projector name. So it hooked up very easily. There was a little bit of noticeable lag just with streaming like a video from my computer to that. If you're using it for, web use and things like that, you're probably good. That's the one thing with casting. It's probably not always going to be perfect. You may have some instances where there may be a little bit of lagging or something like that. So it's always easier to just hook this up to another type of TV stick or Roku player, something like that. So that's what I usually recommend with these budget projectors. I had this hooked up to my Roku player, and that works perfect. I was able to just use Netflix and Hulu and all kinds of apps, YouTube, natively through that, and it's a lot easier option in my opinion. The other thing of note, and this is not specific to this projector, it's pretty much with all of them, is when you're wirelessly screen mirroring, apps like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, and other similar apps are not supported for screen mirroring due to copyright protections. So those are not going to be accessible that way. So that's where I would just recommend using like a TV stick or Roku player. Now I had this about 9 feet away or so, and this was basically covering my 100-inch diagonal projector screen as you see in the video here. And basically you can have this from 4.3 feet to 16.4 feet, they say, for distance. So that minimal focus distance is going to be that like 4.3 feet. That's going to give you about a 42.5 inch diagonal screen, and then that 16.4 feet they claim is about 176 inches diagonal. So like I said, I had this on 100 inches diagonal, but in my experience with these, you may lose a little bit of some of the detail and some of the brightness the further and further you get it back. But I mean, if you were going to do this, you could really back this up and cover like the whole side of your house, really. And then guys, you'll get a few of the cables, an HDMI cable, all that stuff, power cable, the remote that takes 2 AAA batteries. And there's also plenty of other options on the actual unit itself, like the knob on the top here. You can twist that to actually control the volume, which is nice. There's also navigation buttons as well on the top of the unit and everything there. And then you can see all of the inputs on the back here. So the nicest thing is basically it has that HDMI spot. So nowadays that's pretty much what you need for everything. So I was able to hook up my laptop, my MacBook Pro to that. I was able to hook up the Roku player. Basically anything that you would hook up to a TV with an HDMI cable, you can hook up to this. So you can also hook up like a cable box or something like that for, say, streaming football games. And this is ceiling or tripod mountable as well. I had this just seated on a tripod with a tray, I'll put a link in the description down there where you can kind of see that type of option. But otherwise, you can mount this, and there are different customization options within the menu where then you can change depending on how you're projecting, whether you're going to do rear projection or if you need to invert it if it's upside down, all that kind of stuff. And there's also other options in there for changing the actual, picture settings and some things like that. This did also have the zoom out option, so you could zoom it down to shrink it basically to 75% between 100%. But guys, for me, as far as the sound, this got to, I would say, probably about the 40 decibel range. So you did hear the fan and everything, but these speakers are definitely decent enough to use if that's all you're going to use with this. I did watch a few shows just using the onboard audio and those internal speakers, so I was able to hook this up to my Bluetooth speaker. But whether you're going to hook it up to like a sound bar, or if you have a little bit of a bigger system, you're able to do that, which is really nice. It was pretty easy to do. I just went to find the device and then it came up there. You just have to put your speaker into pairing mode. So if it's paired to your phone or something like that, you kind of want to just either turn your phone off from Bluetooth or just let it basically go into pairing mode. For my speaker, it was just holding down the up and the down buttons at the same time, and that kind of reset it. And this is Bluetooth 5.1, so that speaker is also like Bluetooth 5.0, I think. So there wasn't really any noticeable lag with that, which is awesome, because in the past you've sometimes got lag issues and stuff using Bluetooth. So with this, I didn't really have that issue. And the picture quality on this, guys, is pretty good. The brightness is decent. You're going to see here in some of the samples and everything. Like I said, using this in a dark room, you get good colors. I was actually impressed. I had my MacBook hooked up to this, and I was playing my kind of test footage from my MacBook through the HDMI to this projector, and the color accuracy was actually pretty good. I was looking at the colors and they matched up pretty well, so that's awesome. The clarity on this, you can see as I'm going through the menus and everything, kind of within Netflix and Hulu and all that kind of stuff too. The detail is there in the text, which is nice. That's one thing when you go, especially even from 720p up to 1080 like this natively, the text is a lot more crisp. You're able to read that. So especially in the smaller areas of menus and things like that, you shouldn't have any issues. Guys, like I mentioned, the company did send this out to me for my review, but I think it's a pretty solid projector. Like I said, it's native 1080p. It has all those specs I said in the beginning with Bluetooth, 5G, native 1080p. The Dolby sound support's huge. So I think it's a great option. You can check out down below. I'm going to have the affiliate link, and that does help me out if you purchase through there, so I'd appreciate it. But they have a lot of other projector reviews on this channel, so definitely check those out and subscribe if you like this kind of content. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.